I'm Brooks.
I'm Joe.
And this is Cantina Reviews.
Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to have a debate over which is the best of the original trilogy. We're joined here by our good friend Robert Johnson.
Hello.
So A New Hope, in my opinion, is the best. Because not only are you shown effects and aliens for the first time that you've never seen before, so it kind of starts everything and the saga. There's also multiple plot elements that go throughout the movie: action, adventure, mystery, your sadness.
Empire Strikes Back, it takes everything that A New Hope did and it builds on it. It adds new vehicles, new types of characters and creatures. You meet new characters like Yoda, who teaches Luke about the Force. You get to learn more about what the Force is. You get major moments that you've been waiting 2 movies for, like Vader and Luke confronting each other finally. And then perhaps the biggest twist in movie history, you find out that Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Spoiler alert!
And yeah, that's a good place to start.
Return of the Jedi is better because for the first time you get to see, after all that hologram BS in Empire Strikes Back, you finally see the Emperor for the first time. The best space battle, in my opinion. Vader redeems himself finally, so the Force is balanced again. Luke almost dies and almost turns to the dark side, but somehow gets past both of them. Ewoks are awesome. The Sarlacc pit scene is awesome. And Super Star Destroyer.
Okay, I'm going to lead it off and say, as far as the Force is concerned in all 3 movies, mine was the best because of the backstory you got with it. When they're sitting on Tatooine in Obi-Wan's little mud hut, and he's explaining like the Force, how it runs through everything and binds everybody together. That was when Darth Vader killed Luke's father. Basically, you're just evoked in the emotion of the Force more when it's first introduced to you, saying how involved it is.
So you're lied to by a crazy old man in a
mud
hut, and then in Empire Strikes Back, you meet Yoda.
The Force is real.
Okay, but did Darth Vader kill Luke's father?
I'm talking about the Force, not Darth Vader.
Then you get to Empire Strikes Back, you get to Yoda, who is the master. Obi-Wan's master. He's even better. He knows even more.
Yeah, the crazy monkey puppet in the middle of a jungle. You're right. You're right, because he's way better. You first meet him and he's rummaging through trash.
But that's what's so cool about it. You meet this guy and
you have no idea.
Right, you think he's just like this dumb little creature. Then he's pulling X-Wings out of the water using the Force. So not only do you learn more about the Force from Yoda, you get to see the true mystery of it, because this little creature that's like this big can pull an X-Wing out of the water.
And lives in the bottom of a tree and eats trash that came out of the sky. You just gonna sit there?
Hey, mister, I haven't watched any of the movies over here.
I've watched them.
Anyway, Return of the Jedi has the best showing of the Force in all 3 movies because you get to see the darkest form of it with the Sith lightning for the first time. Also, Luke basically uses the Force to turn his father back to good, in my opinion. I think by fighting and by trying to get his father back to the good side, that is an implement of Force.
I don't think he used the Force.
No, he didn't use the Force.
He, by showing, like, so he could have killed him, and he gave up, and he showed, like, sympathy. And he showed, and then Vader took pity on him after that, and seeing the Emperor torture his son.
I still think it has to have some Force element. You're telling me that Vader just is like, oh, my son's being hurt, and then he's like, shit, I guess I shouldn't be bad anymore. I think there's got to be some implement of Force.
Because, prequels aside, what we know from the prequels is that Anakin was like a whiny asshole. But what we know from Episode 4 is that he was a great friend, a great pilot, a great Jedi. Get all that shit from the prequels out of your mind. Anakin Skywalker was awesome, so seeing his son get tortured is going to tap into something and turn him back.
That's a good point. But
thank you, I win. I think you said before, you said one of your points was Luke almost dies.
Yes.
Luke almost dies in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Well, it ties into turning into the dark side. This is the only movie where he actually gets close to turning to the dark side. The other ones, he's not really there at all. In A New Hope, he's not even tempted because he doesn't really know what the hell's going on. He sees Ben die, but he just shoots at the people and then gets dragged away, so it's not having any connection to the Force.
Some could say that, if anything, would help turn him to the dark side, because all he would want is revenge on Darth Vader.
Yes,
that would start.
His primary motivation starts there.
Yes, but then it gets all destroyed again by learning that Vader's his father. He's completely mixed up and doesn't know what to think when Vader says, I am your father, and then basically later on, Ben comes back and says, yeah, he is your father, because then he's like, well, where's the revenge now?
Yeah, you're right, that's a lot of emotional confliction going on in Luke.
So
that's introduced in Empire Strikes Back.
The Return of the Jedi has the best showing of turning to the dark side, because, as the Emperor says, yes, use your anger. He ends up not turning, but he's very close. It adds drama to the movie. You're like, oh, I don't want Luke to be on the dark side, even if he was a whiny asshole in the first 2 movies.
Well, that's a good point. Whiny Luke.
Very whiny.
All he does is whine his way through a New
Oh my!
Hope.
He
I'm
does.
in
He
the
winds
desert.
his way all the way through A New Hope into an X-wing and destroys a Death Star. He whined all the way
So you're
through
telling me-
and blew up a super weapon that they've been trying to destroy for.
So you're telling me that nobody stopped Luke from being killed by Vader? Yeah, Han Solo saves him. He doesn't do it on his own.
Okay, but that doesn't have anything to do with him being whiny. That just deals with him being able to blow up the Death
Doesn't
Star.
stop him from being whiny. And so your argument's destroyed.
No, much
Like the Death Star.
Speaking of no Death Stars, sucks to suck.
Mine doesn't need a simple plot device such as a giant
Simple?
super.
It was a
Yeah,
very
you're telling-
intricate device.
No, that's just a big thing that blows shit up. Mine was way more in depth, has way more to it.
I'm sorry, but if there
Yours
is
is just a breaking point.
if there is a
between
giant super weapon, you're telling me that's not enough plot build up for
That's so straightforward compared to Empire Strikes Back. And they already did it in that one. So in yours, they're like, I guess we're just gonna do it again.
No,
So
they
mine's the
made
best
it.
because they did it first.
They made a bigger and better one, so the first one looked like cheap metal.
Hey, yours was like half falling apart.
Yeah,
They were
Mine
it
was
better
dumb.
off.
His they had to go through a trench for an hour. Yours they
Yeah.
just flew on in.
Actually, they
I
didn't.
shot a bunch of
They had to
stuff.
go to Endor and get the shield down, otherwise their ships
that
would
was
have been
it.
destroyed.
Yeah,
It wasn't just it.
yeah, that was.
They
pretty
almost
good.
lost it.
Mine, the plot is just way more in depth. They split off after the Battle of Hoth. One of the coolest things in Star Wars. The AT-AT is one of the most iconic things from Star Wars. They split off. Han and Leia are on their own adventure, avoiding the Empire. Luke is learning the Force, but then it converges on Cloud City. First of all, Lando. I mean, how cool is it when Lando leads them into the room and there's Vader? He sold them out. You have them go into the freezing chamber. You get one of the most iconic film lines of all time. Leia saying, I love you. Han saying, I know. And then you have Luke and Vader finally meeting up. You don't need a big, powerful weapon to make the story interesting. You have all of this drama that is built up over the course of the movie that pays off so well.
Apparently everybody forgot that, oh wait, to get on the Forest Moon in the first place, Vader's like, oh yeah, let them go because he's going to trick them. Oh wait, I guess that's not a good enough plot line. I guess it's just straightforward and they got there anyway.
Yes.
He tricked
So we brought up Lando. Lando's kind of cool,
in
but
my
in
movie.
my movie, we're
He's not in your movie.
No, I'm saying. That's why I said, but in my movie, what was introduced in mine were 2 of the most iconic characters that have spanned the 8 movies that are currently out, and that is C-3PO and R2-D2. Mine's the best just because people love those characters.
Oh, great. They're in the prequels.
Yeah.
You get naked.
They're the best movie.
You get naked C-3PO and Phantom Menace that was built by a dumbass 9-year-old.
Yeah, but then they don't do anything till our movies.
They don't
Right.
do anything in any of the movies.
All
But they're
R2D2
there.
No, C-3PO is like a great comedic relief in Empire.
But in my movie, C-3PO has the way better moment of when they're in the trash compactor. He says, but they're dying, and they're saying help. You know what I mean? Mine's got the way better scene with him, as opposed to year 2.
I don't know. C-3PO is a really good part in Jedi because he gets worshipped by Ewoks. He tricks stormtroopers to run over after it seems like it's over, and then the Ewoks attack them.
Yeah, but the Ewoks are so lame.
Sorry, Ewoks are awesome. If you don't think so, then you're obviously
I mean, how much
stupid.
cooler would that have been if it was like Wookiees?
That's the
That would be
That's
so
the third,
cool.
Ooh.
That would be so cool.
That's the third movie all
That
over
didn't happen
again.
yet.
I don't care. It's
It would have
Wookiees
happened
everywhere.
first. It would have happened first in Jedi.
And how great was that in that one? Not only does it give you like a cute aspect in Star Wars, it's like, oh, there's like, because all you've seen in Star Wars so far are ugly ass creatures with like the Sarlacc, the Rancor, all in mine. They have the Ewoks, which give you a different dimension. But I think the best part about the Ewoks is it shows they have all this space age equipment, and yet there's something as simple as a spear or a rocket, and apparently some intelligence by the Ewoks to beat the Empire.
Mine is the best, or has the best, opening scene. Really just stunned people. Had never seen any type of effect like that before. With the Star Destroyer following the blockade runner. I mean, it just went on forever, and people are just sitting there in awe, seeing the size of this in theaters. What was your opening scene? Where in a mound of snow or something like that.
a ball gets shot
Yeah,
into
a ball
a mound of
gets
snow.
shot on a mound of snow.
Don't look at me.
I'm not looking at you.
I happen to notice that mine doesn't have any incest in it, like yours two do. Can you explain why that makes it a better movie than
Hey
mine,
man,
please?
hindsight is 20/20.
That's what I was gonna say.
And Carrie Fisher is a damn good looking lady. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
But still incest.
Well,
Oh, my
I mean,
brother.
Technically, yes, but it's not incest as them knowing. It's incest as they had
Incest
no
is
idea.
incest.
Yeah, it's not Game of Thrones. It's not like they're like doing it.
I mean, I thought a good aspect of Return of the Jedi was, as Brooks was mentioning before, how cool the iconic scene of the Star Destroyer coming through. With the Star Destroyer, they're big. They obviously have chased them throughout the first 2 movies. All of a sudden, in Return of the Jedi, you see something that is, 3 times the size of a Star Destroyer with a Super Star Destroyer?
I want to talk iconic scenes. What about when you first see the legs of the walker through the binocular things, coming through the haze of the snow? Instead of just showing them, you're like seeing them through their perspective.
But talking about iconic scenes, the Death Star run.
So iconic, they did it again in Force Awakens.
Exactly. That's how good it was.
That's what I thought I liked about the Return of the Jedi. It gives you such a good plot twist with you're like, oh, it's another Death Star, we could do this. And all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, they're waiting for the shield to go down, but they come in out of hyperspace right into an Imperial fleet that they did not know was going to be there. AKA, the best line in my opinion of all Star Wars, it's a trap.
Best line in Star Wars. Okay, not only, as I mentioned, you have I love you, I know. You also have, no Luke, I am your father.
Or you can have another big plot twist with Leia finding out that she's Luke's brother, finding out that she's Luke's sister, and then finding out, oh shit, it's been incest the whole time. So another thing I think we could bring up in both New Hope and Empire Strikes Back is, until Return of the Jedi, he's pretty incompetent. I mean, you can...
Who?
Luke. I think in Return of the Jedi, Luke is actually competent. In New Hope, he's not competent at all. He's literally just standing there as Ben gets killed. And then in Empire Strikes Back, he can't fight Vader, and he loses his hand.
You see Luke start to learn in Empire Strikes Back. He's doing things with the Force. He's not totally in tune with the Force yet, so he's kind of vulnerable, which actually kind of shows him, really having like some balls in Empire Strikes Back, because he's not a Jedi Master.
But that's what makes him the best in Return of the Jedi, because all of that training has come full force, and now he's the ultimate Luke he can be, which is what everybody wants to see.
That makes it more interesting, because it's like, he's not so all-powerful, so how is he going to take on Darth Vader?
He took out a Death Star.
Because he's one.
And that's all he did.
Well, I mean, he wasn't competent in A New Hope. I mean, what'd you really expect? So when he does destroy the Death Star, it shows that there is a promise of him becoming a fully trained Jedi. Couldn't help Obi-Wan because he was like half a mile away on the other side of the hangar, and he was just watching him through the door.
No! Well, then you have A New Hope, which is just lacking in so many of the best characters in the entire series.
Mine also didn't need all the extra characters. It was a well-balanced movie as far as the characters went. You had the farm boy that just wants to be a hero. He doesn't want to be where he's at. You have the witty, tough princess that can kind of hold her own. The low-life smuggler that you never think is going to be anything more. But then he comes back and he helps them. Chewbacca, who's one of the greatest sidekicks of all time. R2-D2 and C-3PO are some of the greatest comic relief. Obi-Wan's the wise old teacher. Darth Vader is one of the most badass villains, and one of the first most badass villains ever shown on a movie screen at that point in time. So mine doesn't need all the extra characters. And Greedo shot first.
No.
Alright, so I think we're all kind of tuckered out. Let us know who you think won. What is your favorite movie? Maybe tell us why in the comments. You can now follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to our channel. There's more videos up, and there's more on the way, and we're going to be releasing them consistently.
So, once again, I'm Brooks.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Rob.
And this has been Cantina Reviews. Alright, that's it.
All right.